All right. Well, we got to do the normal now recording guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Craig!
Craig.
Bring in Craig.
Now recording.
Now recording. Welcome back to Drunk Discussions. We are live right now. We're live on Twitch. You guys can join us on Twitch every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we're going to be doing these recordings. This is episode 31. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot to drink. I'm excited to be live on Twitch, have some video aspect to this. What do you guys think?
Isn't it 32?
No, it's 31. I fucked it up earlier.
Okay, fair enough. We all fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm doing good, man. It's been a good week. Drinking on some Castle and Key today. So got my bourbon as usual.
Nice.
Actually a pretty bottle. You guys want to see the bottle?
Yeah, I want to see it.
It almost gives me like a Egyptian kind of vibe.
That's cool. How much does that cost?
I think it's like $60.
$60. Ain't too bad. What are you drinking on, Logan?
I've got Angel's Envy
Yeah.
that I am sipping on. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yeah,
Cheers.
to the live episode. I'm drinking on hard seltzer, Kirkland brand. I had leftovers. But
Our
anyways,
viewers,
Here,
viewers
I
get to
can-
drink with us.
yeah, you
I
guys
can
get
do
to
this
drink with
now.
us. You get to pop in the chat with us. You get to join in. Yeah, this is the best part about it. That Angel's
I like
Envy
it.
was rough, man.
I don't like Angel's Envy. I'm sorry. I'm the sheep. I'm the black sheep. I don't like it.
No. How was your guys' week? What you all get into?
So Connor, you know how we talked about Miranda and that whole situation last week?
Yeah, my condolences.
My condolences. She told the story at the funeral. So that's awesome. She said it was great that it really lightened it up, which is cool. I mean, I'm cool with lightening up the situation and everything. But yeah, she told it at the funeral.
It's funny how no matter what, Paul, even when you're being a dumbass and you're not paying attention, you can still lighten somebody's mood.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah. What about you, Logan? How was your week?
Oh, it was a good week.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I was still in the mountains, but I can't be too mad at it. I guess you got
That's
to come back sometime.
That's right. You weren't here last week. I
Yep.
was drunk.
Yeah, last week. It sounded like you guys did a great job, though. I love sharks. Shark Week is great.
Shark fact.
But
It is. Shark facts.
yeah, I was in the mountains for a week, and it was needed. It was a good time. I got to spend some time outdoors, touch some grass. It was awesome.
I told you needed some vacation time. Like, I knew it. It was needed. I was like, when was the last time you took a vacation? And this man looked me dead in the eyes. He's like, I don't know, like 3 years ago. I was like, you need to leave your apartment. You don't drive anywhere. So
I was
you
in
need to
the
exit.
hot tub on like Tuesday or Wednesday night. So I was there for a full week. So it's in the hot tub like Tuesday or Wednesday night, man. Just propped up with a beer in my left hand. Just looking up at the stars, and I was like, well, I wish that I lived here. And I think that's something everyone can relate to. Have you ever been somewhere on vacation and not thought I could live here?
Yeah, I did that. I was like, I went to Florida, and then I was like, oh, I could live here, and I live here now. I'm just thinking about what it'd be like to be in the mountains right now, and how much
You'd love it.
I'd love it. I think it, and I've told Lauren this. I was like, yeah, I definitely would love to live in like the Carolinas mountains. You're still somewhat close to the beach, but you get the scenery, you get mountain bike trails, snowboarding.
The
down
Appalachian.
yeah, exactly.
The Appalachian. Or the
Appalachian.
Appalachian.
But yeah, no, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I would totally. Do it.
Yeah, when I was sitting on the beach in Rotan and I looked at the sunset, I was like, there's nothing better than this. Like, I'd live here. And then someone was shot, and I was like, yeah, I take that back.
Yeah, we've got a peach issue. Peach and what is it? Mangoes. We have mango heists where I live. Apparently, it's big in the news. People are stealing a lot of mangoes from people's front yards.
Mingles.
Mangoes. Yeah.
Mangoes.
Been day drinking.
Those are some expensive fruits. Didn't you guys see that one guy who like tries the most expensive fruits and they're like $100 mangoes and $200 watermelons? It's like,
I have seen that. His dad's like
It's
a
one of the-
professional chef.
That's one of the
yeah.
judges on Iron Chef, right? Is that right?
Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
that sounds right. Yeah. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get this thing started. For the first time, y'all are hearing the intro live. I get to vibe to it, so I'm happy. Let's roll that intro.
Roll it. What happened was we got caught up in a drunk discussion, and then he burned the bacon.
Where we talk about everything and know nothing.
You know what I mean? So it kind of seems like a win-win-win.
Here's Gerald.
Telling everybody I'm dead.
Just draw a dick on it. It's not offensive. It's a dick. Everyone's got a dick nowadays.
Dude, tell me more, because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, a flapper's a 1920s dancer, you motherfucker.
Got a lot of bagels. I like my bagels. Chug 30.
Cheers. Salud.
I mean, this shit's free, right?
Monday morning. Chime on in.
Discussions.
Eagle is landing. All right. Yeah. So, guys, welcome back. Drunk Discussions, episode 31. I got a question for you guys. Right? Have you seen the Orville?
Why does it lag so much? That's the biggest thing.
What, the intro?
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
work on
between the Twitch.
We'll work on it. It's probably because I've got all
No.
this shit going on at once.
No, that's just a delay. That's all it is.
Delay.
It's intentional.
Just a delay.
It's intentional.
The
Oh, you-
Orville? Like the show?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
show.
so like it takes a second to be uploaded and then broadcasted.
Yeah, no,
so
I have
it
it
is gonna be a
delayed.
second behind.
Yeah. Are you talking about like the lag between like what you're hearing on the live, or it's
Like, watch, I'm shaking my head right now.
Yeah, it's a few seconds.
Yeah, it's meant to have a delay, Paul. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
the
it
point.
definitely does. It's like 10 seconds. But what do you mean, the show, the Orville? Is
Yeah,
that what you
you've
mean?
seen the Orville, right?
It's a great show.
Phenomenal
Seth
shows.
MacFarlane.
Wait.
Chef's
Okay,
kiss.
so give me a brief overview of because I haven't watched it.
Throw us
How many
four-
Star Trek?
No, throw yourself 4 centuries into the future, right? Where it's essentially a comedic take of Star Trek, Stargate, and all of these futuristic space shows, right?
What I said.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm kind of explaining for our listeners and viewers. Ooh, I like saying that, viewers. But so you take that where you have a society that doesn't really have religion anymore. They have a space union. They have no more currency because it's based off of reputation, and the value of you as an individual is what is your currency, if you will.
The China.
Yeah, China.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Minus the whole, utilitarian dictatorship aspect of it.
Yeah.
But that is Orville, right? It's everyone's basically at peace, but they're exploring the star system, encountering a bunch of new species, new aliens, all this stuff, and invited them into this union. The reason why I ask all this is that's a very forward-thinking thought, right? That's something that is it could be distant future, it could be something that's out of our lifetimes. Most likely, it is, right?
Right.
Well, this company named Neom, Neom, kind of came up with I would believe, a very forward-thinking motion of the future of living, right? Not the future of humanity, if you will, but the future of living. Did you guys hear about the Coke line?
The line.
Yeah, the line.
Line. Yeah.
Wait, re-say
Neo-
that for me. No, hold on. Connery, what did you say?
The Coke
The
line.
what line?
Coke
Coke line.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like this.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It is, so it's a 132 mile, right? 132 something miles of a line that's basically a giant city that can house 9 million people, but it's in Saudi Arabia. It's in the desert. So Coke line made sense. Sand.
Oh, I've seen that. It's all like glass and mirrored on the outside, and they had like a big old 3D
Yeah.
model in the video.
Everyone's
Here's my
talking about
take on
Yeah, and when I
birds.
brought it up,
Birds are gonna hit that.
when
Like it's giant mirror, bro. Animals are gonna run right into that bastard.
yeah, that'd be a fun walk to work for you. You love birds.
I mean, yeah, screw them. If it flies, it dies. But like, what about? There's got to be more animals other than that in the desert?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it's
they have
cutting
turtles.
off. It's cutting off the desert in the sea, like right. So that's a
I think
lot.
they have
That's a,
fish out there
in the sea. Yeah, they're
In the desert.
sandworms.
in the
Sandworms.
desert.
Sandworms in the desert. Yeah. Tremors taught us a lot, didn't they?
I love Tremors. That was a cult classic I can definitely get behind. Anyways, so Logan, you have a little bit of information on the line, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw about it originally on a TikTok, and I was like, that sounds absolutely insane. It has to be fake.
Right.
But then looking at it, and I've never seen anything like this. If you guys haven't seen photos of the line, you need
Pretty
to
wild.
just look up. Just that's all you need to look up is the line, and it'll come right up. And the plans for this are absolutely insane. I mean, you've got neighborhoods, you've got businesses, all within walking distance, and they plan to like section it out, kind
Yeah,
of like
full
a prison, you know,
communities.
like you have cell
Communities.
blocks. Um,
Yeah.
and then you
Communities.
you go to work, you make your money, you have like entertainment there within walking distance, and you've got like a bunch of these communities just in a line or stacked along this 130 miles or whatever it is. But
So
here's
I
the
mean,
thing, you don't need a car.
yeah, there's no
Like you don't.
roads, cars, or
this
emissions.
reminds me of the Chronicles, or no, not Chronicles of Riddick. What is the other one? Dread. You guys
Oh,
ever
it
seen it where the
does.
communities live straight up and down in these pillars? It's Dread. Like you're gonna
Peach.
have the rich communities and the poor communities. The poor communities are just gonna be run down. Like it scares me. I don't know.
Peachtree, I think is what it was called.
Peachtree.
Peachtree Communities was the name of the skyscraper that they were living in. But no,
See,
it is dystopian in its way. So the idea of it's urban living at its just pinnacle. It's a civilization revolution that puts humans first, providing an unprecedented urban living experience while preserving the surrounding nature. The main reason why is because it's 32 square kilometers that are in essentially a line. It's able to accommodate 9 million people. Ooh, beer
so
burps.
for our American users or
13.
listeners and viewers, it's 13 miles.
13 square miles.
That's what I was gonna ask next.
Yeah.
Yeah. No roads, cars, or emissions. It will run on 100% renewable energy, and 95% of the land will be preserved for nature. People's health and well-being will be prioritized over transportation and infrastructure, unlike traditional cities. Only 200 meters wide, but 170 kilometers long, and 500 meters above sea level. So, yeah, it's in an area that is not really that susceptible to storms. It can withstand a lot of weathering. It's able to survive in a dry climate. However, it also is in close access to a bunch of nature, essentially, if you want to leave it.
Right.
I have a few concerns about all of this. I do.
And
One,
those are
what infrastructure is there? I mean, like, when I brought up the idea of Orville, where you pay off of everything based off of your reputation, right? That's kind of the mentality you'd have to have here. Yeah, there'd be people that have to run the grocery stores, your entertainment, and transportation. Well, actually, transportation is 100% AI. So you'd have
You're thinking-
engineers there.
You're thinking of a singular episode, though. The way they land on the planet and they have the credit system.
No,
Even on the Orville, they don't. It's free. They have the freaking carbon.
What I'm saying though is, if this can house 9 million people, who the fuck would move there? There's no factories. Like, the only people that I can imagine live there are people that are working at the restaurants there, entertainment there, engineers that are operating or fixing the AI trail system that they have going on there.
And the technicians working on the plumbing and electrical and everything else.
So you'd have essentially a consolidated 9 million of some of the smartest people in the world living in the city.
You probably have like cybersecurity and like
Absolutely.
the tech, like IT techs that live there, or people that can work from home and do remote sales or something, like Logan.
And some people have brought up the dystopian idea of this, right? Yeah, it is dystopian, where it takes you away from where everyone's kind of how they are now, right? And it really consolidates in what I would say the one percenters. And it's not a one percenter of money. While I'm sure money is definitely going to play a part in a city like this, is going to
Absolutely.
it's going to dial in on the 1% of the smartest. Like you said, cybersecurity, engineers. But you'll also have a little tiny mixture of people that are doing self-services. But realistically, you've looked at Amazon stores, right? Amazon has a
Right.
store. You literally just walk in and walk out. You don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to see anyone. You just grab your shit and go. I have a feeling something like that will exist there. So you won't have that.
But there's not going to be like a railway or anything for
There will
like
be.
if you wanted to get. Okay.
So the idea is you're able to start at one end of the city and make it to the other end of the city in 20 minutes.
The thing
Really?
is that strain theory says that essentially anywhere there's people, there's going to be crime. So strain theory is where like a person is under strain, they commit a crime.
Right.
So like it's regardless, you're going to have people who feel that things are unequal in this
Right.
community, and then there's going to be crime. So we can't pretend like this is going to be a perfect oasis because it won't be.
Utopia.
Because I mean, history repeats itself, right? You build something beautiful, people find a way to fuck it up.
Amen, brother.
So it could add into it, though. I mean, even crime itself can be. And we've got to take our mindset out of America ways of thinking, right? Now, crimes against humanity is one thing, but they could honestly run their crime division off of automated drones that just go ahead and handle,
What do you mean by handle?
kill, or restrain in some way. Tase. They could tase them.
Or just
taser
take a
drone.
photo and sanction a ticket?
Or, yeah, that works too. I was
Yeah,
immediately
you went
thinking,
straight to the murder.
It's killing.
Murder.
I mean, could get to that point.
That's scary. I mean, it can go in a multitude of directions, especially when you have like this, idea, a new form of government kind of being implicated, and we're seeing it now with China and ideas of what we think in sci-fi. It can take a big turn in either direction. It
What
really
about
can.
the limited resources?
Right.
Like,
Is it
I
near
mean,
a port?
How are they going to continue to bring in the resources required? I guess that's why they have a set limit of number of people. I'm assuming there's someone much smarter than me doing all the math on that.
Well,
Yeah,
Saudi
it's-
Arabia is next to Black Sea, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. It doesn't matter.
It's
I'm
in
sure there's
between
trade ports
that
around.
and the canal, or the canal there between Africa and
Mediterranean?
yeah, sure. No, that's
Bering-
north.
No, that's not the Bering Strait. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm sure.
Pretty good at geography, but I'm honestly kind of drunk already. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
You'll have that.
trade is not going to be an issue. What I could see because its location was specifically picked because it's within access to 40% of the world within a 6-hour flight is kind of the mentality of why it's positioned there. And they've even got videos, which is really cool, of them taking New York and putting it into a few of these lines, if you will. And yeah, that'd be cool. But again, it brings into the idea of, so are you going to have sections that are meant for infrastructure or production?
problem is the way I see this is in a desert, right? There is already no infrastructure. They're starting from zero, implicating this on a city that has already existed for hundreds of years and has built on top of already multiple existing infrastructures. There's really no way to implicate this and put this in a real world American perspective unless you put it in some geography that has nothing.
I think it's
empty
more or less a PR stunt by Saudi Arabia because you have all of these different countries that are saying, man, my camera's glitching out. Oh, well. You have all of these different countries that are sort of like, this is the greatest big mega structure that we're going to build. Fucking the U.S. does it all the time. You've seen the Los Angeles casino district, right? They said that they were going to have the Millennium Falcon. Now they're saying they're having the giant Geosphere entertainment center. Every country kind of has that mentality of PR when it comes to infrastructure and things that they want to build. I think Saudi Arabia is just trying to get a slice of that.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, it's just they're starting in an area where it's nothing. They're starting on a zero ground. Like if you did that in New York, you have 3 past New Yorks that have been built on top of each other, or Los Angeles now it's on the second, or these ones that have been built already on top of each other. You can't just drop this in the middle of Rome and expect it to thrive. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're starting from in the desert on zero. They're making the ground, they're laying the infrastructure, they're starting with a new basis. So like if you did this in the middle of frickin' Oklahoma, like yeah, it could probably work. People would definitely, it'd be a tourist attraction as well. Like people are gonna go, and I know if I was in the area, I would go and see it. Like you think people go out of their way, like, oh, let's go to the world's largest American mall and go to Minnesota. Like no, it's just that they're there, might as well see it.
It's not the Black Sea. It's the Suez Canal is the canal.
Suez Canal. I knew it was one of them. It's Suez Canal
Yeah, it's
in the Indian Ocean.
and it's a pretty strategic location. It is. I mean, it's 500 meters above sea level. It's in the perfect area. It's basically a giant wall, though, separating Africa from India. It looks like. Yeah.
Isn't it on the base of Saudi Arabia? Wouldn't it be separating Saudi Arabia and the ocean? Where I saw it was running along the coastline in the bottom of Saudi Arabia in the desert. So it wouldn't the closest thing would be the Indian Ocean.
It
Africa's
turns.
to the west and India's to the east.
Yeah, I'm not a good trigonometry major when it comes to
What?
locations.
Did you just say trigonometry?
Yeah, no, geography.
Yeah, what words?
It does look pretty cool though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 2 minutes uninterrupted walk into nature. So basically, it's giant mirror wall that has a whole shit ton of doors out of each section. So if you want to go into nature, you just open up your door.
Yeah, but it's like you're either walking into the ocean or you're walking into the desert. Which one do you want to see?
So I wonder what they're gonna do about like trash and things like that.
Right.
Like if you're gonna have
Waste.
waste, do they just throw it out into the desert and it just becomes another mound?
No, they'd have to set up some type of you're not it's not a recycling system potentially, and then maybe a sort of
Incinerator.
an incinerator. That's what I was gonna say next. So it's not gonna be 100% emissions clean. It can't be.
Well, I mean, unless there's a way of incinerating that doesn't produce any emissions. I
True,
mean,
we're
we
thinking
are.
of the future.
We've got to think into the future. So the idea for this city is supposed to basically break ground, if you
Right.
will, here in the next few years in 2030, and they're supposed to have it up and running by 2045. In our lifetimes, we should see the
This could
line
exist.
I
could
mean,
exist. Yeah.
here's the thing: instead of an incinerator, we could just do what we normally do and bury it in plastic.
Oh, you mean
That's
like
much
bury
better,
it in the
I'm
middle
sure.
of the desert?
Yeah,
I mean,
bury
wouldn't
it
it
in
just-
plastic.
The
Let me ask
city-
you this though: wouldn't it just theoretically become oil after a long period of time? Like, say we all
No,
die off.
have you
and
seen
we
waste
suck.
dumps?
I'm just saying, like, it's a bunch of crap,
They
and
say it's
petroleum
like-
project is plastic. Like, it could, about millions of years from now, turn into a big old pile of oil.
They say that it's like a responsible way because the science is so advanced, and what they're layering trash and then putting plastic on top of it, and then layering trash and then putting plastic on top of it, and they're like, no, this material biodegradable. Questionable.
I mean, you could just have a city that's
You-
specific on biodegradable waste.
And then
Okay,
they
so-
obviously are very, very careful that that waste does not get into the groundwater because that could be
But
a
I'm-
problem.
I'm not talking in our lifetime. I'm not talking into our kids' lifetime. I'm talking million years down the road. We're gone. It's a new civilization emerges, and they're like, "Oh, we found oil." Like, think about that. It is a petroleum product for plastic. Plastic does actually break down, but it takes a long, long time.
But we got to get
They-
there first.
I mean,
We
you're
got to
not
get to
wrong.
a million
but
years
we're-
from now first.
Aren't we thinking in the future anyway? Like, fuck it, let's jump to a million.
I hate to say it, but I think the future is going to be full of this becoming a massive investment stunt. So they do have
Oh, I thought you were gonna say douchebags.
I mean, if you're going to move to a city called the Line and be some of the first people there, you know the hipster mentality is going to grow wild in that place.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I mean, so they do have investor opportunities. So you could become an investor of it. You can become an investor of the Line, the world's largest renewable hydrogen plant.
Oh, that's new info.
Yeah, data. Apparently they're pulling a lot of data in. You can invest into that, and a new way of construction. So there's multiple investment opportunities involved with Neom.
Can we go back to the hydrogen plant? Because for a while on this podcast, have been saying that hydrogen is the way of the future, not lithium or batteries like that. Like,
Yeah.
we're wanting to make a clean source of energy. I've been saying for, like, when Toyota was designing a hydrogen engine to fit in a car, I was like, that is future. That is the way of the future right there.
Actually, it gets
emissions is
crazier.
Oxygen and CO2. So,
So
or
it's
no,
yeah,
water,
yes,
hydrogen, oxygen too. Yeah,
yeah.
words,
Words.
math.
So harnessing
Chemistry.
Neom's abundant sun and wind to create green hydrogen. So they're using two natural resources that are infinite, sun and wind, to create green hydrogen and supply renewable energy to the global economy. So again, in 2030 is when they plan to grow and diversify the Saudi economy with this program. But green hydrogen is a form of renewable energy. It can be used as fuel for many different types of transportation in power plants. Another beer burp, and also be used as a green ingredient across a variety of manufacturing industries such as steel, cement, fertilizer. Fertilizer is becoming huge, and so is steel, especially with the war with Russia and Ukraine. And a production of many other things. It is seen by many as a DNA for green chemicals, green fuels, and circular carbon economy. These uses make green hydrogen important for many of Saudi Arabia's blue chip companies, such as Saudi Aramco, SABIC, and Maiden. So, chip component, processors,
For everything.
chips,
Processors,
everything,
phones, everything.
So
We use them in the machines we use for our robots and all kinds of
everything. So, I mean, yeah, it could create a brand new economy of green
shit.
production.
Do you think it'll thrive though? Do you think
I don't think we have
we
a
have
choice.
this we have an I do I mean yes and no. We could be self-destructive and that is our choice.
Yeah, which, let's be honest, half of the country, but at least the U.S. is probably on board with that. But you do have a significant amount of people that are saying, let's
Anarchy!
go green. Yeah. I mean, even so I just found out today that they're increasing the solar tax credit. So the solar tax credit is an incentive for people to go get solar on their property. It's at 26%.
Right.
So you can get 26% of the system you're installing back. Next year, starting January 1st, if you get a solar system installed, it'll be 30%. So they're increasing the tax credit you can get from going solar. So I think the government, as well as a lot of countries, are really focusing on going green. I mean, you have Greenland, you have Iceland, you have New Zealand, you have all these different countries, the UK in general, that are trying these alternative methods rather than fossil fuels to fuel their country. I don't think there's really a choice. I mean, the government's super involved with it, so it's
True, because we have like new automotive industries that are government funded. I'm not going to say names, cough cough GM. But they're going to energy, electric vehicles, and that's going to be charged by a grid. And if the grid's a majority solar at the point, that powers the auto industry as well.
I mean, you have
or lightning. Just throwing that out there,
We did talk about that. We can't harness that yet, Logan.
Not yet. But when it comes to auto manufacturers, though, you do have the largest three in the United States going green. I mean, you have Ford with their electric Mustangs and SUVs. You've got Toyota, who's always been kind of the green aspect with the Toyota Prius. They're also
GM going all EV.
Are they doing a full EV push, like no more gas?
That is their push.
Wow.
And there's also a lot of companies popping up for conversion kits on older vehicles. So like right now, it's specifically kind of for people who have some disposable income that they can put towards their vehicles. So like you'll see people with older, more expensive classic cars that they're converting, like Porsches or old
Chargers.
Shelbys, those types of vehicles. They'll convert to electric, and I'm
All I'm
assuming
saying-
that what they'll do is they'll make conversion kits available for your standard Honda, your standard Toyota.
Agreed. And that would be awesome
So
because
even if
I would
you
love
can't
that.
buy a new one, you can convert your old vehicle to electric.
Because, like, I'm telling you right now, an 88 Pontiac Fiero, baby, if I have a conversion kick, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
It's
She's
just
like an
not,
Ariel Atom.
The
it's not fiscally
Ricer mod
responsible
community.
right now. I don't
No,
think.
it isn't. I mean, you've got to think about it. The batteries alone, all of that nickel, either if they're going nickel hydride or if they're going lithium ion, you have a very expensive component right there. And then you're talking about basically a full either front or rear axle replacement, as well as 2 or 4 motors, and all of the resistors, capacitors, everything that's required, the wiring that's required.
You'd also have to structure it differently because all these cars have been, for guidelines of crash safetings, would have to change because you'd have to get new crash standards done on these vehicles. I don't know if that would work like that now that I'm thinking about it. Our standards of safety on automobiles would probably have to change in general in order to do these retrofits.
I mean, people are still doing it even with like 1969 Vox bodies. They'll go ahead and gut it out,
but
put a battery in it.
a 60s freaking Ford or a Charger was built a little bit differently than a 2020s. Like we literally built crumple zones around our motors now. So like the energy goes around you and the car is totaled. Back then it was just like, yeah, steel bumper, throw it on there, bam.
Yeah, now I guess it would be more or less an electrical explosion if you're in a crumpled vehicle that's not meant to crumple. So I don't know if conversions are, at least with the U.S. government's safety restrictions that they have involved with crumple points and all this other stuff for safety ratings, I don't see that being really plausible down the
So
road.
then what? They crush all of the cars that run on gasoline
They did
and tell
that.
you you're fucked unless you buy a new one?
Obama did that. They did a, what was it, $5,000 buyback, cash for junkers. Obama ran some program like that.
They did that for more than one president. I mean, Bush
Bush
did it
did
too
it,
during
yeah.
the recession too, and Obama. I mean,
But I'm
that was
saying
good
you're
money.
going to
Cash for
take
clunkers.
away. Think about all the gas stations. Think about every car that runs on gasoline. You're saying that they're going to take away all of the cars that run on gas and just say, fuck you, buy a new
No.
car?
There's no way that would never
There's
happen.
no way.
You know how
There's
that would
too many
happen?
people out in the sticks that are like, I love my gasoline vehicle and I'm gonna run it till the day she dies. And
They might say we're going to slowly start enforcing and penalizing oil companies so that they can't provide the gasoline for cars to run, but they will never take all the cars.
but the problem with that is oil companies are so big and they're so greedy, they just switch industries.
No, they
start
would
putting
run
their
in the
money-
they would run in the background. Like I said, strain theory. They don't have money anymore. They need money. I think that it could become like when they prohibited alcohol in the United States. You remember how that went? Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Yeah.
Prohibition, yeah.
Same with big tobacco and Juul and vaping.
And weed now.
Very true. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think that. First off, if they're providing transportation like they do on the line, that's entirely different. If you can get where you need to go without any cost, really, then
Right.
that's going to be much better. I
I
like
put it-
driving personally, but also
put it-
like I could do without it.
I put it at this aspect. Again, they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. And if they see that their profits are declining because the industry's going to a different way, and then the governments are starting to add sanctions against them going towards these EV or green efficient, ideologies, they have the money to jump ship and literally create new industry and rebrand themselves. They do have that ability. Look at General Motors now. They're rebranding as an EV car manufacturer company. We're watching it happen in front of us. I
Right.
truly believe if we find that.
And the
that
oil
they would-
companies,
Well, I mean, they do have the largest hold over BlackRock and Vanguard, and that's where most of their money comes from. Record-breaking profits.
could they not just lobby the government?
That's what they have been doing, though. That's
They've
why
been
the
doing
U.S. is so sucked into fossil fuels still, while every other country's finding alternative means.
Yeah, again, we're looking at it as like a short percentage. Majority of of countries are still using fossil fuels as their main source
Yeah, I
of
mean, look at-
heating, cooling, everything.
Look at the UK. I mean, they're all fossil fuels for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a few outlying countries, that are green, but
But even then, they're not solely green.
yeah.
No country is 100% green. If they were, that would be plastered everywhere. Like, be just like them.
Well, I think
They're
it's
not.
a great idea for a country to switch to it. You are talking about a massive amount of pollutants that are going to be involved with the mining process for the lithium. All of the electrical components. You have multiple countries that will have to be involved no matter what to make a either solar or wind system. Your stainless steel components, your microchips. Most of that's coming from 3 to 4 different countries. And they're using components from 3 to 4, 5 different countries to make those components. So it comes down to you have to have a country that's willing to say, okay, I can go ahead and do not only mining of the raw materials, but I can also do the production side of it. So you have the supply, demand, and everything in one place. for what I would imagine for it to work properly.
Correct.
What you look
I
at?
mean, there'd be a lot of things that are going to have to change, right?
Mhm.
Regardless, civilization as a whole is going to physically have to change.
I think we need aliens. I think we need aliens for the next big.
I don't know about that. I mean, I do. We've talked about that before. Would we have a massive change if that happened? Absolutely, absolutely, it would unite us. But I do think we're in a pivotal point where we're either going to destroy ourselves, like we've done many a times throughout, the history of us, or we are finally going to morph and change, and something has to give, whether that be us, the people, or the government. There's
I was
going to
gonna
have to be a
say,
give.
like, the culture would be the first thing to change. Like, you start seeing all the celebrities, all the billionaires, all the millionaires driving electric supercars instead of what they're driving now. And then you have like upper middle class people like, I need to be car poor and get one of those, and it's EV. And then they start creating models for the middle class. The issue is with consumers, you need to do one of two things. Either you need to be cheaper than the competition, or you need to be more convenient than the competition. Like, the access to your product has to be convenient, or you have to be cheaper.
Yeah.
And if you're hitting on both cylinders, then you can easily make the transition after having consumers believe that they need to be in one of these in order to have that social capital, in order to be seen as someone that's respectable, someone that's successful. So you can sell them on the culture part really quickly. The issue then becomes, as an oil company, in order to rebrand, you rely on the automotive company.
Which
So
we've
as an
done
oil company,
too
you are
much.
not generating any income, so everything you do will be overhead for the first decade, maybe 2 decades, 3 decades. Who knows how long it takes to make that transition? We're
I
already
think it's
starting to see the culture shift.
I think it's faster than that. I don't think it's 3 decades. We've seen look at the last 3 decades, how fast the automotive industry has changed already as it is.
I mean, if we start saying, I'm saying in the situation where the government says no more oil, that's it. There's no more, I'm assuming that it'll be a situation where they're weaned and they'll have less and
Right.
less income and they'll be able to
Right.
invest more and more in electric. But I'm saying if they just say no more gas, period, then everything they do will be
People
overhead.
would lose it.
But everything
Well,
they do would be overhead.
but the problem is we don't have the infrastructure to do that. Like you said, they'd wean it. They'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna go completely green by 2035, or 2040." I mean, they'd have to relay infrastructure. Have to be something to replace natural gas, something to replace coal, or something to replace, oil. These major things that we use, we have them, but are they at the strength that we'll need them right now? They couldn't just cut them off now, but in 10, 15, 20 years, yeah, I can see that.
I think
guess I could see
as
that.
I think as new technologies coming out, the idea of having to make money to be able to afford the new technology is what's becoming an issue. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what would work where money doesn't become a thing? Yeah, you could have reputation, but you still have the people building it, right? So unless it gets
Right.
to a point where automation becomes so prevalent where it can literally get the raw materials, produce something, and have an output on its own, artificial intelligence, whatever it may be, as it continues to advance.
Quick comment and a low margin of error.
Yeah, exactly. Where somebody doesn't have to stay on the line the entire time to make sure it's working. I don't think we'll be at a point where we can withstand a full restructure of the economy, because if you're wanting to say every single person in this country is going to have a greenhouse that can no longer need to run off of fossil fuels, that is able to produce its own electricity, has composting, has all of these just different things involved, they really wouldn't need to work anymore, right? So automation and low margin of error has to be the future. Otherwise, why?
And as a person who works for an automation company, a lot has changed already since I have been there.
What do you mean?
Like you, like I literally work for. I'm not going to say the company, but we build the little robots and the assembly line, the automated companies like or assembly line for these large corporations, and I mean, from where they started to where they are now, it's incredible. They had a total workforce of 60 people 3 years ago, and we're above 300
Yeah.
in just one location, and they have a lot of locations. Each
And
location is
you know,
tripling.
you know the funny thing is, you're
Hmm.
working so that you won't have a job anymore.
Yeah, but someone's always got to go in there and fix those
Like,
lines.
I'm not talking about
Always.
even just you, but I'm saying like the way things are going, we're working so that we won't have jobs.
That would be great.
That's not
Like
That
all
would
really.
be
the
amazing.
advancement, we're testing everything and saying
I'll,
this is the issue, this is how we could make it more
I'll cheers to
efficient,
that.
Cheers.
more efficient, more efficient, more efficient. So efficient, a computer can do it.
But
But
again, someone's going to have to fix out a computer. And I mean, look at my PC. 3 years ago when I built it, top of the line, ran like a top.
So
Now I'm disconnecting every fucking 25 minutes.
everyone's gonna be a programmer. Sounds like
Tech, yeah.
yeah.
But who builds that
that
tech? Technicians. And then who helps build the materials that the technicians to assemble it? Hard laborers. There's always going to be classes, sadly. But
there are,
there
but
will be
there
a
are
point.
so many people though, and we already have a lower class. What happens in that scenario is the lower class grows exponentially and the upper class grows exponentially.
Right.
I think it could all be resolved in a synthesizing type of way, where you have an artificial intelligence, you tell it to do something and it does it. And I guess a matter machine would probably be the
Well,
way, where something that you input a code, if you will, and it outputs a change of matter. So the air molecules around it, or you throw in a block
this
of
isn't Star
whatever.
Trek, my guy.
But it is possible. So matter can't be created or destroyed, but it can be changed. So if you have if you have scientists that are able to go ahead and say, okay, we're going to change this matter into something else, I think that would be the way of
So
limiting the amount of work that needs to be involved.
back to Logan's thing though. Right. My thing on that is we've had situations in the before where we've reached a peak where we had a high upper class and a big lower class and not a very small middle class throughout our history. Like many people believe that that was the fault of the Bronze Age collapse, on top of many other, things as well. But that society as a whole, you had a large upper class and a huge, large, poor or slave bottom class with no middle class, and then eventually the slave class destroyed the upper class. If we're going into a situation like that now, say we go into this futuristic timeline where you're still going to have a big lower class and you're going to have a big upper class, wouldn't we just destroy ourselves again?
I don't
Yes,
know.
but what the point that I was getting at was that if we get to a point, like what I meant, you and I working every day, we are testing things. People are gathering data from the work that we're doing. They're saying, how can we make this more efficient? And what they don't catch, you tell them about. This isn't working. We need a better way to do it. And if
Right.
you're not telling them, the person working next to you is. So what I'm getting at is if we get to a point where everything is automated, sales are automated because you have so much marketing, everyone is so accessible. Um, like if everything is automated, the computers know when something needs to be repaired and they begin the repairs themselves. If all of that becomes the case, then you have programmers, people writing the code to control everything that's automated, and that's all you need because when something needs repaired, there's an algorithm that's running, or a code rather that's running. It's triggered, needs a repair, another robot begins fixing it. So you have people doing programming, and then you have people existing. And that's what I mean by a large upper class programmers and a large lower class people who are existing. And how do you, I guess this is my American brain not understanding what a person does without a job. Like, there's still going to be necessities, food, water, but if everything is automated, I'm going to also assume that all of that's being collected for us. So, what do people do? How do we exist? with so
You
many
live.
of us on the planet? Because
You
there's only
live.
so many programs, right?
Go travel. Go. You get to finally get the materials you want to build something that you've always wanted to do. Go live. You get to finally live. We're the only thing that pays to be on this planet. We get to finally live as a human species. Like, even when we were hunter gatherers, we had to fight to survive. We had to kill to survive. We had to gather to survive. We had to work in a community, and then each person had a value to bring to the community in order to survive together. Now we're hitting
All
the
of that's
point.
automated.
Exactly. It was a different type though, but yes, exactly. We're reaching
no,
a
what
point
I'm
where first time in human existence, we might not have to do that. Not now, not during our lifetime, but there might
So
be a point.
I think and I'm with Logan with it, and that's why I had such a hard trouble understanding. Okay, what do I do if everything's automated? And I can see if automate. So getting back to it, you have a device that's able to convert matter into something else, right? Whether that be through artificial intelligence, you put in, and the reason why I'm saying you put in the information that you want is I finally got access to Dolly. Dolly is an artificial intelligence program that you can just literally type in exactly what you want. Like Lauren and I, we put in a pink dog jumping over railroad tracks in space, and it gave me that image. Something that never existed before at all. It rendered an image of it and gave it back to me. 4 of them. I think if you can get to the point of saying, I want this, it's able to recognize those words as something and convert that matter into something else. That's step 1. Step 2 is the automation side of it. So whether that be automation of living, automation of production, automation of fixing itself, all of those different things, you can finally get to a point where reputation, and I understand it now when I think about it like this, reputation becomes a key point. So reputation of something that doesn't exist yet, whereas
Again, you're gonna always have to have someone to work on those lines for an error or something to be fixed.
not
Always.
until you get to the point that it's able to do itself. You say, go fix line 3, algorithm 4, and the machine just does it like that for you because you input that. Or you get to a point where that device is able to do it itself when it recognizes an error going off.
So just
100% fully automation.
completely building another automation line to fix itself, and then one to fix that line, one to fix that line, and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. You've
It is
already
not
got
much
automation doing it.
Or you just already know what parts need to be replaced when, and you say until all of these parts have reached their expiration limit, which the machine will then alert you to.
Until it's
This is
something.
these are all of the things that could go wrong. This is a machine that can do all of that, and a program that will run that machine and recognize when an issue arises.
Right,
Yeah.
and we're hundreds of years from that. Based on what I
Not
work in now, no, based on what I
necessarily.
work in now, we still have to send technicians out to fix lines and machines constantly that are breaking.
I'm gonna put 5 to
Constantly.
10 years on it.
No,
5,
no,
yeah.
no. I can tell you right now, no.
Paul, in the
As someone that works in that
1970s
field, no. As someone that works in that field, and the contracts that are already set in place now with companies now, it's way longer than 5 years, my boy.
Okay, so you're talking about a bureaucratic system that's involved in contracts.
Yes. Welcome to the world.
Yeah, but I think we're 5 to 10 years out on having.
We're not going to
automations at
change
that
our whole
scale.
system like that in 5 to 10 years. I don't see that happening.
Why
No,
wouldn't
no,
we?
no, no.
Half of the country right now is already up in arms about having to work, having to live, because they're recognizing that they are stuck in the mundane universe of doing a 9 to 5, going through depression, being fed pills and drugs and all this other shit from companies just trying to make a profit. You have healthcare that's completely outrageous. Yeah, I definitely
you look
think
at
a
other
push of a
look at other
humanitarian effort
countries
into
that
could be
I
beneficial.
get that. I can see that, but I don't see it happening. Not in 5 to 10 years. Not even close.
The
You say
reason why
30,
I say
40,
5 to
50
10
years,
years.
maybe that's a brink of where we see the change, where we see the major difference. Not in the next 5 years. I'm sorry. I don't
So
see
in the
that.
1970s, we had a computer that was the size of the house that I am now to be able to handle what a fucking.
We also
flip
went to
phone
the
can now
moon.
do.
When was the last time we went to the moon, Connery?
What's the point of going to the moon anymore, Paul?
But we haven't been back since we did it, and we had computers that were, like you said, the size of your house, and we did it then. Now we have computers that are in the size of our cell phone.
wanna know
and
why-
we aren't going back?
It's because Earth is flat.
And it's because the moon is hollow. Mic dropped.
No, I get it, but like, I say 5 to 10 years because in 2004 the iPhone was introduced. Prior to that, you had computers that were massive, and then they went ahead and said, "Let's put it in the palm of your hands." Now you are literally running a early 2000s supercomputer off of your cell phone.
Who
Early
funds it?
2000s.
And a lot of
Who
the
funds it?
weight and a lot of the weight and size of your cell phone is cosmetic.
yeah.
Right. And who funds it? We the people. We're the ones that fund it. We're the ones doing the labor, mining the fields for the hard raw materials,
Buy it
building
back
the
for
material,
more than the labor cost.
designing it for these companies. I don't see that happening in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. So this brings up the next question. I know.
Cheers to depression.
Yeah. Cheers. God damn it.
Yikes.
Look, we're on a track that things could be popular, but I want to know any of our viewers, any of our listeners right now as we're live, do you guys have any questions? Do you want to switch topics? Or do you have a question? I know I already have a question. I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you, Paul. Where do you see the world? I'm not going to say the U.S. I'm going to say the world within 50 years. Something that's definitely attainable in our lifetime.
50 years?
50 years.
I see two things, right? In the next 50 years. I see two things, and they're out there, but I see two things happening. One, major economy crash, major government crash, and the world as we know it has completely changed. That's what most people are preppers, people that are called conspiracy theorists go out there, but like if the world as we knew it changed drastically tomorrow, like internet was gone or an EMP or war or whatever happened, majority of people would be trying to hunker down and make small communities and stay to themselves. So that's like, boom, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I'd be in the woods shooting them deers. Best case scenario, we finally break free in these 50 years. We break free of this like stigma of all these countries, like individuality, jumping to more of a world economy, which is also on its own right interesting yet terrifying because you don't know what the direction it's going in. Whether some people are like, oh, it would take aliens to do it. Yeah, it could. Or, a global disaster. It could. Or it could be just unity in general. Finally, people are like, more than one country is fed up. They make a federation or a conglomerate of countries of these ones that have broken the stigma, and more follow.
So wait, if that happens, where do we all go? Like, are we all going together? Are we gonna go hunt and gather?
Oh yeah, come over to my house. You already know what's up, bro. We're good to go.
We're gonna have to go somewhere else. Somewhere that there are more resources available to us.
Montana.
Just don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, no.
Kool-Aid? Did
Yeah,
you
don't
make
drink the
it? Is
Kool-Aid.
that why?
Yeah.
You using that
I mean,
sugar?
I'm gonna be the leader. I mean,
You
regardless.
sick
I'm
bastard.
You're gonna be the leader.
Thus one who owns the firearms rules.
Hang on.
I don't
So
know.
but the thing is, what kind of Kool-Aid is it though? That's the important question.
Oh, that's
Great.
great.
Oh,
All right, I
Jinx.
might drink. I might drink it anyways. I'm not gonna lie. I like me some grape
I'll
Kool-Aid.
drink to that. I'm gonna drink this Kool-Aid.
Did
It's
you?
American whiskey, baby.
Did
What's
you
your
know-
favorite kind of Kool-Aid?
Oh fuck.
Like, if you had to drink Kool-Aid and you were like, all right, it's gonna end my life, but I'm gonna drink it.
But like,
anyways,
does it
which-
have to
which
be
flavor
Kool-Aid?
is it?
Does it have to be
Red.
Kool-Aid? Like, can we just say high C fruit punch?
Yes,
Red.
it has to be Kool-Aid.
Red. I like red.
There's
Kool-Aid.
more than one red.
No.
And all of our viewers and our listeners are instantly know what we're talking about when we say red. They're like, I can taste it. I can taste red.
Fruit punch. Yep. But
Well, it's red.
but the thing is, there's strawberry watermelon too. That's like, I mean,
There's the strawberry kiwi too that they had. That one was a good too.
I disagree with you strongly, but I'll let that one fly.
Kiwi's
Just like
very tart.
It's just- I'll let that one slide. All birds are robots. We went over this. They're all listening devices. They're not real.
Wait, did you guys?
Catch us
See
next
that?
week where we discuss birds being CIA listening devices.
Again for the second time.
They actually came out with an article about having to replace small flying devices, like small flying surveillance devices. I'm like 70% sure I saw an article about it somewhere.
Like drones or just like fucking fly on the wall kind of shit?
Like smaller than the normal 3.5 gram drones that we're used to seeing. Super small drones, like able to fit into a bird drones.
3.5 grams.
So I was gonna say that's a little fucking drone.
I mean, we already know that they do have orangutan drones, if you will. They have or
What?
robots.
No, hold on.
You
Step
can't
back.
just. There's
You
no
can't
skipping
just drop
past
that.
that.
No, there's no skipping past. What do you mean orangutan drones?
Have you seen?
Please elaborate.
They put little tiny
Right,
robot
people.
baby monkeys and orangutans, gorillas. They put it into the environment that they know a group of gorillas or orangutans are living in, and it looks lifelike. It's able to blink its eyes. It's able to move its mouth, its arms, its legs. They
What?
put it into the environments, and they try to get the alpha gorilla or whatever to allow it into the family. And they literally put it on the back. They put them on the branch, and they just sit there and observe. It's a way of us being able
Looking
to
at
observe it.
their.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if
I'm gonna take
No,
your word for
that's-
that. I've never heard of it, but I'm gonna take your word.
I'm fact checking it right now, and I just can't believe this is real.
yeah, you do
This isn't
that.
real life.
It is.
He's
real.
gonna tell you it's bullshit.
Nope.
Where you see it, and this is the most robot-looking orangutan you've ever seen in your life.
I've
You
never
just
met
got a
a smart.
silverback, like actually on a branch, just overlooking the rest of the gorillas. Like, what's going on
They're just
here?
like, oh yeah, that's Jerry. Jerry
Johnny
doesn't
took
move.
Johnny took all the bananas from the cache. I'm gonna tell them all.
All right, we do have a question. Have you seen Russia is to leave the ISS in 2024? Or China does have a rocket that's about to crash this weekend in the U.S.
What?
But we don't know where.
No, it's getting closer. Right now, I think we're like 6 hours out as of recording. There's supposed to be a rocket debris that's falling to Earth. It will land in the land of the U.S. And
So you're saying we could potentially be crushed by a rocket while just chilling at work?
no, neither you or I are on the trajectory. However, what I think is kind of weird, and this is kind of a tin hat, so everyone, let's have a drink. We haven't said cheers.
23-ton piece of rocket.
Did you see the trajectory? It is directly over Washington, D.C.
It's a dirty bomb. Goddamn Chinese.
Accidental?
At about 15,000 miles an hour. Okay.
Do you see where it's confirmed to
Okay.
land from?
And what's worse is it's made of material that is meant to sustain re-entry into the Earth's orbit, so it's not going to break up like in anything normal.
Somebody's saying it's not confirmed to land in the U.S. Our user, Connery's wife, I wonder who that is. Hey, honey, thanks for watching us. Let's see.
Who
Rocket.
cares? She's
We
like, no,
don't
I'm
know
just
the
here to fact check you.
material. We don't know material it is comprised of. Does China? Can they let us know?
Can you give us a little intel? What the hell's going on?
Listen, Professor Chao Chi Kwang, can you please tell us? He's the head of the space department at
So-
Taiwan's National Central University.
On Saturday, which is tomorrow, the 30th, at 2:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's about to be a 25-ton core stage of the Lawn Mark 5B rocket entering the Earth's atmosphere, plus or minus 5 hours. So it could be... Where'd Paul go? It broke.
He died.
There he is.
Here, chill out. I just disconnected my camera and reconnected it.
Yeah, fair enough. Whatever. Anyways, so this rocket's going to come plus or minus 5 hours of 2 p.m. So it could land at 2,
7.
4, 10, 9 a.m. or 7 p.m. Tomorrow. Let's see. Most of the rocket will burn up, but big chunks of it will survive the fiery passage, probably 5.5 tons to 10 tons. 5 to 9 metric tons
Dude.
in the metric scale.
Are we gonna see it though? Like entry? Can we see it enter
Probably.
the Earth's orbit?
Probably. You want to have a party and watch it enter?
I mean, I'm not doing shit tomorrow. I'll be
No,
waiting in
so
line at the
wait.
bourbon line.
Hang on. So, did you guys know though that like this is not a new thing? Like space junk is just like falling to Earth all the time.
All
Like
the time.
in the 1970s, NASA was fined 400 billion dollars because one of their some of their space junk landed in Western Australia.
I mean, it's
But
Australia.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
Australia.
we
Not
still
much
haven't
there.
we still haven't paid them for that, by the way.
Why would we?
Australia or NASA?
1970s, there was some tensions with Australia, right?
In the U.S.
Yeah.
I
Over
thought we
what?
were in good terms with them, pretty much
Yeah.
since
We
the
get, we
30s.
import their koalas to put in our zoos, and they leave us be.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, we did help them in the Pacific in World War II
We
a
did.
lot because Japan would have been like that would have been a big thing if they took Australia.
Yeah, let's go take this jail continent.
So these lines are basically going over. Actually, I take that back. Northern Ohio is technically in the orbit path, and it crosses into Washington D.C. Also, South
can see it.
Carolina.
We can see it.
But it will be chunks of material. It wouldn't be the full chunk of itself. It'll burn up. So it'll basically break up within a 10 ton. So about 10 tons of it will break up, but it won't land in a giant chunk in one place. It'll break up over multiple areas. But if it's going
Little carpet bomb action.
at 17,000 miles per hour, it's basically as fast as a Honda Racer will go, which is 27,000 kilometers an hour, which is just fucking asinine.
That's
Did you see what
crazy.
your wife said, Connery?
Sounds like
like
a
a-
Best Buy delivery window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, yeah, the new house. We did have new appliances delivered. Fridge was broken. It's been 2 months since the fridge was delivered, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll get to you." Now they're trying to say we had it already delivered, the new fridge to Ohio. So it's kind of one of those things. Anyways,
Ohio here? Where can I go get it? I'll pick it up for you.
yeah, tell me about it. They're supposed to deliver it on Wednesday, so we'll see if I get my new fridge then. But yeah, I know we're definitely, if it lands in the U.S., God knows what we're already talking about next Friday.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Especially
Yeah.
where it lands. Like if it lands in Washington D.C. in the next 24 hours, you know what's going to happen?
What?
I don't
We're gonna
know
have a
what's going to
serious
happen.
conversation about leaving things in space.
We ha-
Probably.
Yeah, like
We've done that. I mean, it doesn't like a bolt that off of one of the previous satellites hit like an astronaut or hit a space station and it like caused major damage for.
You got to think about how.
Remember that wasn't that
fast-
long ago.
Isn't
it was
that
like
a
piece of
movie?
debris.
You got
I
to
mean,
think
it's
about
been in
how
movies, too.
fast
That's
it's
literally
moving.
Gravity, the movie. Sorry. Yeah, it's moving fast. 17 to 25,000 miles an hour. It's fucking super fast.
No, I'm saying like space junk, like as it's orbiting the Earth. You got to think about like how fast it's moving, just orbiting.
Right.
Stupid
Like-
fast.
But I mean,
And
is it
then
the same fast
re-entry.
as if you are also orbiting, like the space station, or like a satellite? It's also orbiting, so if it's orbiting at a similar
It's-
rate, is
If
it?
it's a higher mass, then
There's different
the forces of
layers.
gravity will be different.
Yeah, there's different layers of orbiting, right? So a lot
we
of
just
the
pollute
space
everything,
junk,
don't we?
a lot of the space junk we have is in the very, very higher atmosphere level, because that was the safe zone back in the early, 80s, 70s, for satellites. And then in recent times, we're able to say, okay, let's put stuff in lower Earth's atmosphere where it's able to, orbit safely, but slowly return to Earth over time. I mean, there's going to be a period of time where we have a metric fuck ton of space debris just continuously falling over
I mean-
the next 50 years.
We do it in our oceans. We do it to the land. Why not space?
Have you seen Earth? Like NASA has an actual diagram of the planet Earth in 3D, and then all of the space junk that's over a certain amount of weight in display, and then you can put it under a smaller amount of display, and you can't even see the Earth when you turn on that filter. It is crazy how much debris is in space right now, just orbiting Earth, from crashed satellites to.
You wonder, like, how do we safely get out? Do they, like, you know what I mean? Like, that debris is gonna hit our shuttles and our rockets and everything else. Is that why we haven't been
There's
back
going
to
to
space
be.
as much as we want?
I would imagine. I don't know. I'm not a NASA scientist. None of us are.
You know what? Easy way to fix it. We just put a giant net up there, and it just catches it all like a giant scooper for a pool
I
pond
actually,
or a pond.
I actually
you
am
know?
a NASA scientist.
With that being said, we're all a bunch of convincing idiots talking about shit we have no idea about, but we just want to
Not a damn thing.
bring you guys into our lives of talking about drunk discussion. So thank you guys so much for staying in on the first ever live episode of Drunk Discussions. Be sure to tune in next week where we're going to be doing a raffle. If you are listening and you're
Yes.
involved, Paul is giving away a bunch of cool merch. You can find us on Twitch now at twitch.com/drunk discussions. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us anywhere. Drunk Discussions could be found. Thank you guys so much for listening to Drunk Discussions podcast. And with that being said, Paul Logan, take it away.
Yeah, so guys, I just wanted to say that make sure that next week when we do stream that you're active in the chat. At least let us know that you are
Fucking
here
dick.
and listening so that we can get the raffle going for you. I also wanted to say we appreciate you being here and we're looking forward to next week. And stay tuned. Catch us at twitch.tv/drunkscussions. Paul?
I mean, you guys, you pretty much took it out of my mouth. I mean, I was just gonna say all the merchandise that we are gonna be taking off. Again, it came from Redbubble. Redbubble. I'm already slurring. So if there's something you don't get, go onto Redbubble. You can help support us, help support this podcast. We're growing fast, and it's all because of you guys. So tune in. You know, we'll obviously keep all of our social media up to date. Obviously, if anything happens or changes in time wise, but join us. This has been fun.
This is the outro.
Away.